What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
And we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Sails appear as if out of the deep. With a burst of guns, a tide of Englishmen pounds onto the beach. The Spanish flee inland. The English, having failed to conquer Spanish Hispaniola, have come to take this sparsely populated island instead. Spain had claimed Jamaica in the days of Columbus, promptly enslaving the indigenous Taino people. As disease and maltreatment began to kill nearly all of this population, the Spaniards turned increasingly to enslaved Africans. In the chaos of the present invasion, these Africans, roughly 1,500 strong, find themselves free. Spanish stragglers resist the English until about 1660. But the liberated Africans continue to fight from the shadowed woods. The Spanish had called such African and indigenous runaways cimarrones, meaning wild or untamed. The English called them maroons. After some years of bloodshed, the maroons retreat at last into the forested mountains, and the English do not follow. It is recorded that the ways of them became utterly unknown to the white people, and so they continued for many years. In the meantime, the Jamaican coasts become the haunts of buccaneers such as Henry Morgan, who murderously plunder Spanish ports and ships.
Yeah, the Maroons, yo, what they was doing in those woods around this time was like so mystical, if I can put it that way. Like he was mentioning, coming out the shadows, catching the men off guard, watching them as they actually walking for long periods of time before they actually make their moves, like understanding them at the same time, how they was operate. And their leader was just as hard. But, you know, he didn't say all of that because he got a story to tell, but I had to put that in there.
Unity.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Clergymen decry the Jamaican city of Port Royal as a profane and ungodly haven for pirates and prostitutes. The great wickedness does indeed enter through the southern docks of Jamaica. Yet it is not the dwindling ranks of buccaneers, but the foul blight of slavery. The withered survivors of the transatlantic voyage are prodded ashore, sold, and forced onto plantations. The enslaved population, which counted 550 Africans in 1662, numbers 45,000 around the turn of the century. Many die from disease and overwork in the scalding, injurious labor of sugar production, and this industry is maintained by heinous violence. One pro-slavery writer notes, for crimes of lesser nature, castration or chopping off half of the foot with an axe. For negligence, they are usually whipped by the overseer. After they are whipped till they are raw, some put on their skins pepper and salt. Rebellion incurs the punishment of being burned alive slowly. And yet it is known by all that in the mountains there live those whose very existence defies this order. Runaways and the survivors of frequent slave rebellions have often joined them or formed their own bands in the wilderness. And on occasion, often in the quiet hours of the night, the Maroons return to the plantations. They torch the estates, kill the slaveholders, plunder weapons and supplies, and liberate many of the enslaved into their ranks. For in the Blue Mountains lies a place called Nanny Town, home to hundreds of Maroons. Elements of the traditions and tongues of the mother continent are maintained here in a kind of diasporic West African village. Women plant yams and plantains, and men hunt wild hogs, and their children are born free. The leaders and warriors answer to the spiritual counsel and wisdom of a Maroon elder called Nanny. Her town, together with outlying Maroon villages, constitute the Windward Band of Maroons. In the west are the Leeward Maroons, under the stern leadership of a man called Cudjoe. Many Maroons are from the Akan-speaking region of the Gold Coast, first taken captive and...
Dani was who I was talking about. Dani was the leader. Yeah, she was running the show.
Yeah, Cudjoe is such a common name that a lot of our ancestors were named. Like the ones with significant stories. Like one of the last enslaved people. Actually, the one who, the illegal slave ship that came in after it was abolished. Not abolished. They stopped the international slave trade. His name was Cudjoe. So I wonder if people in West Africa still go, yes, no, still name their children that. And if they do, what is the meaning of the name?
Right,
I
because
forgot the
there's
meaning.
a lot of meanings. They got meanings.
During wars against rival African coastal powers. Thus, the Maroons are well acquainted with war. They traverse the Jamaican hills with signaling horns, brandishing spears or stolen guns and swords. When British planters expand around the northeast coast in 1722, the Maroons strike. Plantations are burned and deserted. Enslaved Africans are inspired to rebel or run away. Maroon raids continue for years with hardly any retaliation. The British Crown sends regiments of professional soldiers in 1730. But the militia and military alike must face the mountains, where they flounder down false trails into traps, only to be ambushed by Maroons who vanish again into the woods.
Yeah, he's talking about it now.
Maroon warfare, slave rebellions, and a correspondingly torpid economy are bleeding the white population, already around 10 enslaved people to every 1 white person. At an emergency meeting of the legislature, the governor warns, "There never was a point of time which more required your attention to the safety of this island than at present." The British mobilize large parties against both bands of Maroons and capture several settlements, but many of the slaves made to fight for them defect to the Maroons, who regain Nannytown in a counterattack the following year. The underground rebellion is all around the planters, in the trees in their very homes. The enslaved listen and pass intelligence about British plans to Maroon scouts. The Windward Maroons, themselves oath-sworn in loyalty to Nanny, sense war. 400 troops, including 100 professional soldiers, advance toward Nannytown. One division moves to block the rear exit, but the Maroons ambush them and chase them off. The remaining 300 march on. The Maroons suddenly appear from behind trees and rocks, shouting, shooting, and massacring the front lines. The hysteric British fall back. Following this triumph, rebellions spring up across the island, and runaways join the Maroons in droves. The legislature of Jamaica concedes that the Maroons have grown in power. To the great terror of His Majesty's subjects, they plundered all around them and caused several plantations to be thrown up and abandoned.
You can only imagine, them entering the woods blindly, bro. It's like the fear that they're having, knowing that they're about to enter into a playground that they don't usually play in, and every time they go in, they don't come out. Yeah, that is.
The Maroons know it better than they do.
Yeah, it's their territory, 100%.
Diminution of His Majesty's revenue. A planter writes that, "The rebels got the better of all our parties. Our men dare not look them in the face in the open ground or in equal numbers." But in 1734, a large British force quietly scales the high, narrow path to Nannytown and bombards the huts with small cannons. Maroons flee the burning village. In the ensuing skirmishes, Maroon warriors take the lives of 80 of the attackers. But Nannytown is lost. The Windward band disperses to other hideouts. Some make a long trek to Cudjoe in the west, but the prickly and vigilant chief will not risk harboring those not under his direct authority. He turns them back. And for years there is quiet, the planters recovering some sense of security, until the Windward Maroons resume the fight in 1737. The British, possessing neither the means nor the will to conquer the mountains, resolve to make peace. Representatives first go to Cudjoe and the Leeward band with gifts and hostages. The terms of their proposal grant the Leeward Maroons ownership and authority over all the land around their settlements, 1,500 acres, and the right to hunt almost anywhere and trade in colonial towns. At last, freedom and safety. The price of this victory is that the Leeward Maroons must assist the British in putting down rebellions and invasions, and that from this moment on, any runaway slave who seeks refuge with or encounters the Maroons is to be captured and returned to the slaveholders. Cudjoe signs the treaty in 1739. Some of his men revolt at this apparent betrayal of the enslaved. They attempt to foment a rebellion on the plantations, but Cudjoe has the leaders of the plot arrested and personally oversees the executions of 2 of them. Next, the British go with beating drums and fanfare to the place of the Windward Maroons. Nanny's people have long held the British in contempt. One observer notes that their women wear necklaces strung with the teeth of His Majesty's subjects. But the prospect of war against both the British and Cudjoe's Maroons effectively forces them to sign a similar treaty. No longer can the enslaved look to the hills for liberation. The British have helped turn their old allies against them, and in so doing preserved the slave state. Ships arrive with appalling frequency. The number of enslaved people in Jamaica approaches 300,000 over the course of the century. The cry for freedom grows louder, but massive slave revolts are brutally suppressed with the aid of Maroon warriors. In 1791, the Haitian Revolution begins, a long and cataclysmic slave rebellion. Amidst fears of spreading revolt, British disputes with the Maroons of Cudjoe's old village, now called Trelawney Town, devolve into war in 1795. The other Maroon villages will not support Trelawney Town, but runaway slaves join the ranks of the rebels as they did generations ago.
Oh, y'all know. I've been trying to buy all of the books that connect all of the stories.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't even think about how any other country was affected from the Haitian Revolution. I guess because I had like a big study of Louisiana with the Haitian Revolution. Oh my Lord. The distance. But can we give it up for the women with the teeth around their neck?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was a symbol, bro.
Could you imagine?
That's a life and death situation you're dealing with every single day you wake up.
Yes,
around this time frame. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's like, imagine waking up there. You know what I'm saying? And you know that you're on lookout for something, and that's what it is.
Imagine they coming with the drums.
I mean, being heard, bro, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you announcing your arrival. It's like, just signing your own death wish.
Mm-hmm. And you go up and you see them wearing y'all teeth around their neck. Lord.
Lines of redcoats are decimated by guerrilla warfare. The British lose 70 men in around 2 months without a confirmed kill of their own.
Hold up, wait a minute. That remind me of the Gullah Wars.
Whoa, we didn't get to that one yet. Man, that's, yeah.
Whoa.
Like I said, they would go in and it wouldn't come out.
Ooh. Child, the Gullah Wars had
It was worse than this,
the representatives.
It was worse than this.
Wait, what they say? They said this was the bloodiest. Dang it. It was a direct quote, and I'm going to misquote it, so I'm not going to quote it. But basically had the government like, let's not deal with them no more.
Mm-hmm. It was nonstop.
Yeah,
now, that war was very leading up to a lot of equations. Let me put it like that. Yes, sir.
Burning crops and cutting down forest brush forced the Trelawney Maroons to accept peace. Yet many are slow to give themselves up, and the governor uses this as a pretext to take nearly all of the over 500 inhabitants of Trelawney Town and banish them.
Nova Scotia. They sent them to Nova Scotia.
The first winter is one of the worst on record. Here in the north, the Maroons are resigned to ramshackle lodgings. For years, the Maroons petitioned the British government to permit them back to Jamaica, to no avail.
I've never heard
In 1800,
of
the British allowed them to settle in Sierra Leone, home to many formerly enslaved Africans. A large part of the Trelawney Maroons will remain there for the rest of their lives.
Okay, hold on. I gotta gather my thoughts right quick because I know about.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, I know about the companies, and I also know about what is called the American colonization something. You know, when they were sending our people back to colonize.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that is connected. Whoa.
Yeah.
And I know that it happened with Trinidad. I didn't know that they sent Jamaican Maroons there.
Well, it sounded like they all had the same blueprint.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? This is what we're going to do. I mean, even during, like, whenever everything was happening with slavery, they would have certain men come around and they would use the same tactic to control the slaves. So they had the same blueprint. They were just sharing it. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Was England... Okay, I have to go back and look at the years. Sorry.
But in the 1840s, after the British abolished slavery, some sail with their families to Jamaica.
Some people made it back.
Actually went back by themselves.
For the eldest among them, it's a return to the island of their childhood. An island of lush mountains where centuries-old maroon communities live on to this day.
Yo, well said, bro. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, what?
I was making art like this, or when I'm researching...
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna stop right there. Make sure you guys go check his channel out. Yeah, well put together. Love the timeline. Love the way he, did the story. Some new things actually popped up for us to go now research on. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
interesting.
Definitely. This was one of the most well put together productions.
I feel like. Yeah.
I was really there.
I feel like.
I like that one. That was cool. Always great to learn history with you guys and to piece together everything.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.